This is part 2 of not taking 10 grams of creatine daily for the last 13 days. I began taking creatine about 2 years ago and eventually I landed on 10 grams daily. In the last 13 days I did not take creatine. The first effect I already discussed in part 1 of this video is that my muscle bellies seem to have deflated, which resulted in old clothes that I actually had trouble fitting in, again fitting a little bit better. I also already discussed the 4 potential reasons for this, one of them being creatine inflating seemingly my muscles. Since they also will be related to the following, I would also like to mention the 3 other potential reasons why I think the clothes no longer fit that well. The first is that on a given diet I probably eat more food because creatine allows me to work out more intense. The second is that on creatine I seem to have thicker skin. This could be due to relative body fat on creatine staying the same, but absolute body fat actually going up, and then the subcutaneous layer of fat increasing in thickness. I also seem to hold more subcutaneous water. Often I have trouble distinguishing between those two. And the last possibly contributing factor to why my clothes no longer fit is that my gut, I assume, is on average more extended, as at a given diet with given nutrient density, my stomach is just more filled because I work out more intensely in the creatinated workouts. Which now leads us to the second of the 3 main changes I noticed not taking creatine for the last 13 days, which is that strength training performance slightly dropped. Experimenting with creatine in the last 2 years, I, for myself at least, set a number to about 10%. I probably am able to lift 10% more. I probably am able to do 10% push-ups more. 5 grams of creatine seems to be not sufficient, at least in my case. Andrew Huberman also makes the case to scale creatine according to body weight. The average human body weight worldwide, according to a recent Google search of mine, is 62 kilograms. I am usually hovering around 80. So if the 5 gram recommendation is not based on a population that is very similar in weight to me, it would already make sense to scale up creatine intake by around 20 kilograms. So I take the 60 divided by 3, thus increasing the creatine I should take by 33%, which would result already in about 7 grams. A few studies also show mental benefits of creatine at higher doses. I think I heard Thomas DeLauer talking about how creatine might slightly reduce the symptoms of sleep deprivation. A practical example of how much less I could lift. I recently moved. Arriving at a new gym, I could pull and dip 1 rep max around 40 kilograms, sometimes a little bit more. My all-time 1 rep max for both is, I think, 42 kilograms. In the last 3 weeks, I will continue in part 3.